And hope you find some kind of peace of mind. Find
Was true.
Right now.
hope you find some kind of peace of mind. Find
All right. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Matty B, Epis Radio. This is Mental Mondays with Epis, episode 21. Give yourself the green light. We're also live on TikTok right now, so thank you to all the TikTok viewers that are currently tuning in. Appreciate it. You're going to get a little bit of a raw version of this, so I apologize again. You can head on over to my other socials, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and you can find the links in the bio there. That will get you to the Twitch, or you can just look it up on YouTube and Twitch, Epis Radio. We are there live now. What's going on, everybody? Happy Mental Health Monday. As always, it's been a pretty good start to my week, not gonna lie. I was working with some good coworkers today, so the vibes were flowing at work. No issues there. Got out of work early today, 4 o'clock, hanging. Recorded this week's mental health video of the week, as I will show you guys shortly. As always, we'll get into that. It's, part of the subject on today's show. Give yourself the green lights. Recently, I had read Matthew McConaughey's Greenlights and loved it, fell in love with it. Kind of like started reading it, put it down for a little while, went back. Just finished it recently, and gotta say, it was a good read. There's also an audio book out there, and you can listen to Matthew McConaughey. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Probably something I should have done. Would have finished that easily with in 2 days with the amount that I run. Jesus, just in the 10-mile run the other day. I mean, was yesterday. I could have probably finished it. So definitely recommend it. All right, great book all around. Let me know if my audio's a little too loud. And those of you, again, sorry guys, those of you that are watching on TikTok, appreciate you. I'm a little new here, so again, you got a little raw version of what's going on. I'll try to keep up with you guys as well. Thank you for joining me. So the book, Greenlights, down to its core, it's all about just giving yourself the green light. All right, and what exactly does it mean? It's pretty self-explanatory if you ask me, but it's just about opening new doors and really putting yourself in uncomfortable scenarios. Like I have with my life recently with this running journey that I've been on, even, starting, years back when I started doing ice bath, is just really putting myself in uncomfortable scenarios in which, that would ultimately help with my growth and move me forward in a direction that, would just build character and, change myself for the better. And it has, and it's something that I feel like has spilled over into other aspects of my life. And it's by taking that green light approach and just doing things that, you really don't want to do, that ultimately, you could do, or, if it's a goal that you're reaching, dream job, whatever it is, something that you could be working on. The journey to get there is still going to be uncomfortable, even though it's maybe doing something that you love and all that. I love hiking, I love running, but a goal of mine is to, get faster and stronger so that I can explore more and adventure more and things like that, so that's really my whole goal in it. But the journey to get there is is a rough road, is a very rocky road, right? Up and down, uncomfortable one. And oftentimes, we really just, press on those brakes and don't allow ourselves to grow or move in a direction because it's just not the easy thing to do. It's the hard thing to do, right? I mean, and oftentimes we just don't want to do what's hard, and that's okay. It's very human. Like, it's very understandable. Like, I'd much rather, instead of go run 10 miles, always, maybe I'll run 3 and, get to the couch a little earlier, but no, like, do what's a little uncomfortable, do, what you really don't want to do. Because at the end of the day, what we don't want to do is what we know has to be done, and it applies to a lot of other aspects in our life. Some of us got to go to work, don't want to go to work, but hey, you know what? We know it's got to get done. Now, that's not necessarily a green light that you want to get stuck in, or a road that you want to get stuck in. If it's something that you really don't like doing, then maybe you got to give yourself the green light to go elsewhere and move along. Well, I don't want to like start breaking it all down. I pretty much did already. Let's get in to this week's mental health video of the week. I gotta set that up real quick for you guys. Again, thank you for joining us. This is the first time I'm streaming live on TikTok, so thank you everybody on TikTok for joining. Appreciate you. I am streaming live on Twitch and YouTube, as I always do, generally every Monday. There's very few Mondays I have taken off now since I've been streaming. It's been streaming well over almost a year now, starting in February consistently. And just really got the YouTube page going. So now here we are on TikTok, so I appreciate you. Nismo, coming from Twitch, what's going on, Niz? Appreciate you. Thank you for showing up as always. Guys, for those that are watching me on TikTok right now, you can check out my video. Maybe you wait till after I go live, but you can leave and then come back. It's all right. The mental health video of the week is live now on all the socials. So check it out. Hope you like it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Still trying to pull this up there. I'm sorry. This is new for me to have. I got the phone going. I got this. I got like 4 screens on me right now, people. All right. So, and I see you guys on TikTok. I love you. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm just trying to get all my ducks in a row right now. So thank you, as always. Let's see this. Da, da, da. All right. Come on. Why is this not popping up? Do, 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 do. Why? Where's my page, man? No. There we go. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Again, so those again watching on TikTok, gonna be a little silent here because I'm playing videos on Twitch and YouTube. So just be mindful of that. Don't go anywhere like, what's this guy doing? Just staring at the camera. I could actually mute myself and talk to you guys for a little bit too. So that's cool. I'll probably just do that. That's a good idea. All right. This week's mental health video of the week, guys, on Twitch, YouTube. Check it out, and please like, comment, follow, subscribe, the whole 9. Would really appreciate it. Just help the channel grow and everything. And let me know what you think of this week's video. I loved it. I'm gonna talk a little about what went into like creating it, just the idea again, and all of it. I'm just trying to frame it for you guys properly in real time. Sorry, pro streamer over here, All right. There we go. I'm happy with that. And all right. I recently read Greenlights by Matthew McConaughey. And one thing it told me was to give yourself the green light. So many times in life, we're putting on the brakes. We see that yellow, and we just, instead of pushing through, we kind of have a tendency to hold back. to step on those brakes. You got to give yourself the green light. It's supposed to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But I promise you, it's going to feel much better having done it. And having just given yourself that green light. Tonight, I gave myself the green light to make this video. Shit, I gave myself the green light to get this shirt, to earn this shirt. If I didn't tell myself that I could do it, even when I didn't think I could do it, who knows? I would have been wearing this shirt and I wouldn't have been the man who I am today. So if there's anything you do this week, or today, or tomorrow, just give yourself the green light. Keep showing up. All right. One more time for those of you watching on Twitch and YouTube. Play it one more time for the folks. All right. I recently read Greenlights by Matthew McConaughey. And one thing it told me was to give yourself the green light. So many times in life we're putting on the brakes. We see that yellow. And we just, instead of pushing through, we kind of have a tendency to hold back. To step on those brakes. You got to give yourself the green light. It's supposed to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But I promise you, it's going to feel much better having done it. And having just given yourself that green light. Tonight, I gave myself the green light to make this video. Shit, I gave myself the green light to get this shirt, to earn this shirt. If I didn't tell myself that I could do it, even when I didn't think I could do it, who knows? I would have been wearing this shirt and I wouldn't have been the man who I am today. So if there's anything you do this week, or today, or tomorrow, just give yourself the green light. Keep showing up. Keep showing up. All right, baby. All right. Oh, I love that shot. I think that that was a great shot. And again, you gotta check it out. My whole idea, especially because I'm talking about green lights, red lights, yellow lights. I'm like, all right, it's either I gotta have like a traffic light in the background, or I gotta have like traffic, something. Like I gotta have something related to lights and cars, whatever. I just thought it would be poetic. I don't know, call me corny, whatever. I just thought it was a good idea. And so I had a bunch of spots near where I live. I live, in Queens, New York, for those of you that don't know. So there's just inspiration around every block and corner. It's just, so I had the perfect spot in mind right above the LIE over here in Fresh Meadows, Auburndale area. Excuse me, jeez, that came out of nowhere. Got a little dry throat, and so set the tripod up, made sure it wasn't blocking the route. That's the running route of mine, so it's very active, especially at that time of day. I try to be mindful of that. I didn't want to be blocking people. I did get some looks, I don't do these things often in public like that. So, it was like, I'm just trying to be mindful, I'm an influencer in the wild, even I don't like that name, but, that's, definitely the looks I was getting. And, whatever, it's cool, man, I get it, but I was trying to be mindful, and I didn't, I would have really liked to set up the tripod a little bit further back, but in retrospect really couldn't, because if you go back to the video you can see a lot of sun glare going on from the top left, and if I brought the tripod back a little bit, even bringing it back, I would, regardless, I'd have to zoom in on the camera because there was just far too much glare going on, and having the sun in the frame would just kill it. So as it was, I had to, and I don't typically like doing this, but I had to put a filter on the video, itself just to dim down the lighting because it was far too bright when I had recorded it. I mean, I could have left it in, it's fine, whatever, but it was almost as if, I'm white as it is, so, and, I'm pretty pale, so, it was almost as if, like I was like, being blurred out, like it was just, I was being outshined by the sun, and the sun will win, every time. So, I have to be mindful of that. So I put a filter on it, made the lighting much better, and we were good. And this was the first take, honestly. It was the first take. I'd taken multiple takes, 3 total. The third one completely scrapped. Second one I liked, but I had messed up and I wasn't standing in the right position. So I was a little bit off center, which pissed me off as well. So I was like, nope, not doing it. I could have kept it with it, but I think overall the message in this first take, again, for those of you who don't know, I don't really script my videos when I'm making them. It's just, sometimes I have like a script in mind, but I'm not reading off paper. I'm not doing any of that. I like to call myself the one take Johnny. I really keep it strict in that regard. And mainly, I think the purpose of it too is just to remain genuine throughout. I'm really not trying to like put on this facade. I'm just speaking from my own experience. I don't pretend to have all the answers. I don't pretend to know anything, in reality. This is, again, when it comes down to this show and just being here and doing this, it's like a therapy session for me. I went to therapy growing up. Don't do it anymore, but not that I'm opposed to it. I just, for whatever reason, I don't think I need it. I look at therapy as a type of outlet, right? I mean, like this for me is an outlet in itself. And, those of you that do join me on the lives and we talk, I mean, it's, awesome. And, it's something that we can just bounce off of each other. We're here for each other. And, that's what it's about. That's what it's about at the end of the day. So again, the message of the video, the green lights. It's so important, to give yourself the green light. There was a time where in my life where I was so reluctant to give myself the green light on, virtually anything. I did what was comfortable, and I did the opposite of what I knew I had to. As a young teenager, I threw away a lot of my years, over just drug use and partying and not really fulfilling my full potential, and to no fault by my own, yes, sure, there's underlying factors contributing to some of my behaviors during that time. But again, I hold myself accountable. I mean, there's nobody else but to blame but me. And it was a time in my life, and as I got older, into my 20s and into my late 20s now, young 30s, it was just ever more evident that I needed to change something. I needed to change my approach to things, and I would say about mid-20s to the late 20s, and really now, in the last year, 2 to 3 years, the last 2 to 3 years is where I really started to give myself those green lights in almost every aspect. And again, I'm not perfect. I'm learning. I'm trying to improve every single day, but that's what it's about. It's about making those changes. It's about just doing what's uncomfortable and creating something new and a life in which you want, right? And just be the person you want to be. My whole journey with running was very weird how it came about. Just need to wet the palate a little bit. Oh, that's annoying. I'm gonna shut the notifications off on my phone. My running journey had basically started from me taking these ice baths. As weird as that is, I never really liked running. I've told this story before, but I was an athlete growing up. Athlete, played basketball, baseball, on organized teams, and played a lot of other things: handball, recreationally. Football, hockey. Was skateboarder. Just did a lot of things. Very active. Some point that kind of changed as you get older. Again, drugs kind of took hold late teenage years and into the early 20s. Then I had a kid, and that kind of stopped. And then got older, had more kids, and it was, all of it stopped, essentially. But the ice bath thing was probably the most, probably the biggest green light I had given myself ever, because it was the ultimate uncomfortable situation. It just was like it just to be in a cold ice bath for 3 to 5 minutes. I mean, just freezing. Some temperature is 34 degrees. Fahrenheit. Bricks of ice just having to break through and being in there. Not an easy thing to do. Try it. Not fun. Still not fun. I did one yesterday because I haven't done one. I had to actually take some time off from doing it because, of my vasectomy recently. And, let the good old testes heal a little bit. And so I haven't been doing my ice baths. I get in yesterday after a workout, and oh boy, I just found a hard time breathing during those 3 minutes. And boy, I stuck to like a strict 3 minutes, which is not something I normally do. I'm able to stay in there 4 or 5 minutes, even in really cold temperatures. That yesterday, nope, no, was not happening. Very uncomfortable. But I did it. 3 minutes is sufficient enough. It was borderline negligent at some point because I was struggling to breathe at first. And that sounds like, why would you do that? That just sounds. But again, it's the mindset. It's the mindset of just giving yourself that green light. Now, I'm not saying go jump in a tub of ice. That's totally me. I'm a little cuckoo. It's fine. We those of who know me, we understand already. But again, it's the idea of giving yourself that green light. I forget. I think my first streak, and it was really the streak because I had broken up my first streak and then tried to start again, and because I had a hospital stay, I just the streak broke. It was a shame. But the first streak was easily over 400 days. I think I hit 500 days. I forget. I gotta check. I was thinking at least 500 days I had hit, and then the streak broke. So I did 500 straight days of taking an ice bath, which is just absolutely absurd if you think about it. Right in my backyard most of the time. Throughout the winter, through storms, the whole night, just like in situations in which like I did not want to be out there. Along with that came a running journey in which I took the similar approach because I had a goal in mind and I wanted to run a marathon. And, for those of you who have run a marathon, you know what it takes to actually do so. It just takes a lot of time and effort, and, it is not something that even like the amateur runner is keen to doing, and it's really just the next level. It consumes your life. It consumes your weekends, your weekdays, your nights, whenever you're choosing to run. I'm not a morning run person, so I get in my runs after work or at night. And on the weekends, you're typically in a normal running regimen. you do a long run on typically most people do Saturday. I like to do Sunday. But you get your long run in, and that can consist of easily 10 to 15 miles. For some people 20, 25. I mean, it's crazy. Whoever's running 25 miles on the weekend, that's just absurd. But there's ultra runners that are doing it. So I know a few. So I know people are running 100-mile weeks and all that. It's just insane. And again, that's something that I actually strive to get to. And in order to get to, I have to give myself these green lights. And it's not always the green light I'm looking for. It's not always the green light that, is comfortable. But it is the green light that is necessary. And that is just the thing. You have to do it. You have to be willing to give yourself that green light. Let me just address the chats over here, make sure everybody's good. All right. I want to, I never even got a chance to set up my computer. I wanted to make sure I was streaming on YouTube and all that. What is going on? Those of you joining on TikTok, thank you. Appreciate you. We got a 3 stream going tonight. This is crazy. Alright. Didn't think I'd be doing this last December or around October now, but like this time, like around Christmas time last year, I just I didn't even have streaming on my mind, and I had given myself the green light to do that and to change that. And here we are. I started streaming back in February, and just putting out all this content on YouTube. I went from 5 subscribers to over 30,000. I think we're at 33,000 last time I checked, approaching 34,000. And I never would have happened if I didn't give myself that green light. And again, it all started from that ice bath, as weird as that is to say. And when I given myself that green light, that definitely was another green light. That, how many times am I seeing green light in this episode? That would be an amazing count. We got easily over 100. I'm gonna try to avoid saying it now because people are probably like, damn, this guy has just been saying green light this whole time, But we gotta get like a green light, maybe in the edited version I'll get like a green light count going, because damn, the over under on that is insane. But again, that was something that I gave myself the okay on. See, I'm going to change it now. I'm going to say okay instead of green light, even though I just said green light. I gave myself the okay. And here we are. Months later, 34,000 subscribers later. And man, that's something 16-year-old me never thought possible. I guess 16-year-old me never even thought that was, a thing, going back that age. This is before the subscriber. Well, I guess not, but like, yeah, that's definitely not something on my radar, yeah, social media and everything looked a lot different back then. Certainly didn't envision this, but yeah, no. 16-year-old me did not see myself running 5 marathons this year, which is now a new goal of mine, which originally I had set out to run 4 marathons. The fact that I ran 1 marathon last year. And then all of a sudden I was like, yeah, okay, 4. What? And that maybe it's too much. It probably was too much. It probably is too much what I'm doing right now. And my body certainly feels like it. I gotta say, for having done it, my body doesn't feel that bad. But I think it's almost been somewhat of a detriment to my growth because it's kind of skewed my training plan a little bit. And, I've been a little bit all over the place with this training block this year. It's just been like one large training block. It's kind of irresponsible if you're trying to stick to a certain running regimen. At this point, I should just be running weekly at high mileage, but I'm not, and trying to fit in all these marathons just out of sheer fact of achieving the accomplishment, which is okay. It's cool because, again, I'm happy doing it. My next race coming up is a 50-mile race. That is in a couple of weeks, right? What, 2.5 weeks now? Yeah, 2.5 weeks. It's a 50-mile race out in Staten Island. And I don't really have much of a goal in mind outside of finishing. I would like to beat my previous 50-mile PR, which is 12 hours and 47 minutes, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Nick, what's going on? Coming from Twitch. What's up, bro? How's everything, man? Good to see you here. It's been a while since we talked. How's everything, man? How's your Monday going? How's your mental health Monday? Thank you for stopping by, bro. So this 50-miler, coming up is just, something that for me is it's just going to be fun. Of course, I want to go out there and hit a PR and all that. More so right now the goal is to just be healthy and just go in there, healthy and really just happy. I think a part of trying to do all these marathons in this one year, I think in this last one that I just did, and it's the shirt that I'm wearing on the 80K marathon. I've now done the 80K marathon twice. First time last year, and this is the second time, so two consecutive years doing it. Had fun ultimately, but I think I was really hard on myself on this one, mainly because I didn't reach my goal time, and I actually didn't even come close, and I did worse than last year. I was 10 minutes slower than last year, and I think that weighed heavily on my mind, mainly because I just had it in mind that I would be able to do better. And again, a lot going on. Had another kid. I don't want to make excuses for myself, but there's just been a lot. And like I mentioned before, my training regimen wasn't necessarily where it needed to be. And the result is the result. I also went in there, my knee was clearly injured. Something was going on for weeks. And again, I didn't really allow myself the time to get off the knee and recoup. I tried to take a couple of days off, but I really didn't want to break too much time because I just, you want to maintain a certain mileage. Otherwise, you just feel dead come race day. But I either way, I was injured going in, so it did myself a disservice. There's no point of, no point in pushing forward if you're just going to ultimately be injured. And, I was not 100%, and I knew that going in. And still, I was upset at myself for the result, thinking that I was going to have a different result. And it's clearly just not the case. But the aftermath of it was more telling. It was, not depression per se, but definitely like post-race, like postpartum, if you will, right? Like it was just post-race, like, dread and, wondering, what I was doing wrong, and just trying to, pinpoint the flaws in myself and a little bit of self-reflection. And that's awesome. Like it's necessary, right? You need to self-reflect. You need to hold yourself accountable and understand that, you may need to be doing more. And I think I came to that realization, and, hey, that's okay. That's fine. But I had to really pull back and say, like, dude, you still ran a marathon. And for some, that 4 hours and 37 minutes is their PR, is a goal that they're trying to work on. Maybe somebody's out there currently I guarantee you there's somebody out there trying to like be under 440, you know? And for me, it was like disappointment almost. And I had to stop and I had to think to myself, and it's like, hey, whoa. What's the point here? You know, like, why are you doing this in the first place? Is this just this some sort of accolade that you're trying to prove others that you're capable of? Or is it like, you know, which was never, you know, the case. I'm just throwing that out. Like, again, that's that self-reflection. Like, why are you really doing this? You know, because it's certainly for me, it's never for social media clout. I could care less. You know, like this is, you know, I started running. Before I started running, I started hiking. I was a hiker. I like to hike a lot, hike all the time. I mean, literally, if I could, every weekend, I'd be out there hitting the trails. I did that for a lot of the years, especially once the pandemic hit. I just got really crazy with hiking, and I got introduced to the Adirondacks, and I spent hours and hours and hours and days out on that trail and all of those trails. And you know, I've now hiked like over 20 mountains there, and hiked quite a few in the Catskills and the surrounding areas, New York, New Jersey, PA area. But then came the running, and then came these goals, and it was just like my mutual love for the two. Like all of a sudden, I had just fallen in love with running, but mainly because I knew running would take me places hiking, and I'd be able to travel further and explore more, and that's what I had to tell myself. And then I started to realize, I was like, well, you know, I don't know, maybe, you know, let's find the love in it again. Let's find the joy in it. So I was forced to take 2 weeks off from running because, again, I had a vasectomy. So doctor's orders, just, you know, I'm not running. Okay, I got stitches in my testicles, just not good rest speed. The chafing, you know, not a good idea. Tricky Nick on Twitch. Work has been kicking my ass in a good way. I switched from day shift to night shift and could land a lead position. Hey, man. That's good. See, that's an example of giving yourself a green light in a positive way, in the correct way, in the way in which you wanted to manifest growth in your life. And that's amazing, man. Good for you. That's awesome. You know, like that's, you know, and now you know, it could lead you to a lead position, which, you know, something before you might have not even considered, might not have thought it was, you know, on the table. And here you are now. You know, if the whole night shift thing works for you and that works for you, and again, obviously it could lead to promotion, and that's something that you want, desire, and it's a beautiful thing, bro. Kudos to you for giving yourself the green light that leads you down that path. And again, and continue to give yourself those types of green lights. And it will only, you know, lead to other things, man. You know, it's a beautiful thing. It's tough, though. Tough night shifts. What is your work shift? You know, like I used to do 3 a.m. to 11 a.m. That was a night shift that I used to work for quite a while in a hospital up in the Bronx, Einstein Hospital, in which I was born in. Sometimes I would do 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. I kind of like that more, the 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. I feel like I had more the following day after the shift. You know, I go home, sleep a little bit, wake up. It was kind of like midday afternoon, you know, get a couple hours. That night shift is weird, man. I could never do it now with kids, obviously. I don't know how people do. I got guys that, you know, work night shifts with kids, and, oh, God bless them. You know, that's just tough. You know, that's not easy to do. But, you know, 5 p.m. to 5:30. See, that's a weird one. But, okay, if that works for you, that's good, too. That's interesting. I don't know if I like that, going in at 5 p.m., you know, going in at dinner time. That's tough. What do you do again, by the way? Let me know, Nick. I apologize if you have told me before. That's interesting. 5 p.m. to 5:30. It's good in the one sense that you get out, you know, 5:30, you get to go home, sleep, you know. But yeah, 5 p.m. to 5:30. That's a tough shift. Those of you watching on TikTok, thank you for joining me. I am live right now on Twitch and YouTube. So if you want to see the real version of what people are seeing right now instead of what you're seeing here on TikTok, check me out on Instagram, YouTube, Epis Radio, and you'll find all the links there, and Twitch as well. All right. I work at a tire warehouse. Okay. All right. So that's like, yeah. So with the travel job, you have to adapt to the shifts. Yeah. Okay. Of course. You know, I mean, it's something that, you have to be flexible with. But, yeah. All right. Cool, man. Tire house going 24/7, apparently. No? Or is that, I would, yeah. If your shift is ending at 5:30, somebody's definitely relieving you at that time. So, yeah. Clearly 24/7. Yeah. You're currently is going to be supervisor and taking over his lead position. Nice. Good, man. Good for you, bro. It's a beautiful thing. And it's what I mean, man. Green lights, they're all around you. Oftentimes we are so easy to be hesitant. A move like that, you may just be like, hey, you know what? Let me press on the brakes a little bit. I'm not really sure if this is something for me. Let me stick to what I know, right? It's so easy to fall into that trap with a job and just, hey, to be, full content and, just be, hey, all right, I'll stick to what I'm comfortable with and it's good. I mean, for me, I would say I probably have fallen into that trap, but it's not a bit of a trap. I know where I'm at. I know where I like with my job. And I've been there now for quite a while. I think I'm approaching 5 years. No, 4 years now at this current department. I've been with Northwell over 5 years, definitely. I think it's been more, man. I don't lose track of time, to be honest with you. But and that's the thing. It's been that long, and it's funny because when I went in there, I didn't think I would be there this long. I didn't think I'd stick around. And partially because of the coworkers and the environment and things like that. I didn't know if I'd mesh well or it'd fit. And, I found a home there and it's cool. I've learned to cope with my coworkers and all that. I think that was a struggle for me early on. Mainly because it just wasn't something I was used to. I'm not used to working in a closed environment with so many coworkers at one time. I worked in the medical field my whole life, and I've worked in hospitals before. I mentioned Einstein Hospital, but it was very different in Einstein because it kind of felt as if I was by myself the whole time. Yeah, I would communicate with nurses and doctors at times, but more often than not, I'm on the floors by myself, for those of you who don't know, drawing blood. And, you just go room to room, you're one-on-one with the patient. I don't really have like a boss over my shoulder. So I felt independent. In this environment, I literally have, 10 to 15 other coworkers at a time that I'm constantly interacting with like all day long. That is something that was entirely new to me, very uncomfortable, very, for the sake of the show, very green light-ish. Because, again, it was just something that, I just was not used to. Prior to that, I was a mobile phlebotomist. I go home to home, drawing blood. Again, one-on-one, I'm just dealing with the individual patient, and I'd see my boss at the end of the day. I liked that very much, but if it wasn't the wear and tear on my car and all that, and just the sheer fact that I would never get off on time, who knows? I might still actually be doing that. It wasn't half bad, but I ended up making a move. I pressed the green light. I said, you know what? I need a change. I'm going elsewhere. Here I am. And, it led to good things, mainly because, it was a place where I can settle down and be, and, and then, I had all my kids, all of a sudden Maeve came, Charlie came, now Cooper, and, when everything that happened with Charlie, him getting, you know, him being born premature, and I was about to say him getting sick, but he wasn't like sick. He was just born premature, 1 pound 9 ounces. For those of you who don't know, had a 7-month stint in the NICU, and just, I literally racked up over $100,000 worth in medical bills. And if it wasn't for the insurance that I have, and him being my wife giving birth at Northwell, and having Northwell insurance, I don't know if that's like something that would have been sustainable. It could have changed the course of our lives forever. And the fact that this job enabled me to have good insurance that covered all those costs. I mean, we have not paid a penny of that till this day, even though collections have come after me twice now about it, which, the second time around, I was just like, oh, screw yourself. Like, I'm not, we already settled this debt. I don't know how the hell you came across this clerical error, but, I had spoke to, the billing department, those who were responsible for the bills, excuse me, and it was fine. But again, none of this would have ever taken place if I didn't have, made that green light and switched that job and, do something else. It was huge for me. Change everything, amongst other things. And again, you go back and just the whole journey, taking the ice baths, getting outside, hiking, going back even younger, in my early 20s when, I was just getting over years and years of drug use. I mean, my from 15 to 20 years old was just one big blur, to be honest with you. In that time, I overdosed on Oxycontin once, obviously lived to tell a tale, but yeah, took one too many, had some pretty bad drug stints in there, and clearly that's not something that's conducive to a healthy and prosperous lifestyle. Yeah, it's not sustainable in any which way. I lost a lot of friends during that time too. When I went into the my 20s, and just about early 20s, I had stopped all that really. Definitely the hardcore drugs, like all that's gone. Cocaine, pills. I was big into pills, ecstasy pills, shrooms, did acid quite a few times. And again, I wasn't doing nothing around those days. I went to college for a very short period of time. And again, I was at 19, 20 years old. I got my son's mother pregnant at the time, and that was like the turning point for me. It was once I had realized she was pregnant, I just kind of made that shift in me and stopped doing all that, those hardcore drugs. Still drink, still smoke a little bit, every now and then, but, just really cut a lot of that, all of the hardcore stuff out, and, kind of made that green light to, start my fatherhood journey, which was certainly a rocky road to begin with. I was not the perfect father around that time. I was not the perfect example of what fatherhood should be. I still had a lot of flaws in myself, and I was reluctant to hold myself accountable in a lot of ways. And that reflected in my life and just everything that ensued after that. But hey, it all started from somewhere, and again, those small changes that really paved the way to where I am today, all starts because of a green light that you give yourself, man. And just to full circle, bring it home, there you go. There it is. I mean, I could, talk for hours about the individual, moments of my life where, have led me to this point, and just having, talked about some of that right then and there, certainly, brought me back to a place. And, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be who I am today. I'm grateful to be, a father of now 4. I'm grateful to be healthy enough to run marathons and to do what I'm doing. I mean, shit, I'm shooting for 5 marathons, 2 50-mile ultras included in that in one calendar year. I mean, 16-year-old me would never. 16-year-old me would be like, you're fucking nuts. And just, you smoke your life away or whatever, drink your life. Because that's what it was, man. That's what it was. That's who I was at one point in my life. And I never want to be that person ever again. I never want to go back to that person. Thank God I don't look back on my life. Even though, don't get me wrong, like, I don't regret it. I truly don't have any regrets of my younger years. I just look back on it and say, you know what? It is who I am. It is who I was at that time, but it's a part of me. I had so many good times, so many good memories in a lot of that. And I'm not, I wouldn't give it up for anything, man. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of, just who I was, like I said, and I'm grateful for each and every memory. I'm grateful for just having experienced the things I did, because I don't even think it leads me here to who I am now. My father passing away at an early age changed the course of my life forever. And the decisions I made after that were certainly detrimental to who I was, but, who I was trying to be. But I'm not, I don't look back and, regret it. I don't, get angry at my father for, there was a time where I did, and, therapy helped that, and just, years of time passing and had also helped that. But I'm not mad at him. I'm not, I don't look back on the choices I made and being regretful of it. And why should you? Why should you? You're here. What's going on? Oh, the live will end. Why will my live end? Oh, TikTok, why do you do this? Why do you make me do like a puzzle piece when I've been going live for too long? What's going on, everybody on TikTok? Thank you for joining me. We've had people come and go on TikTok, so thank you. I appreciate it. It's the first time I'm streaming on TikTok, so pretty cool. I'm also live on Twitch and YouTube right now. I've been going for over an hour now. Show's coming to an end because it's dinner time, and my wife needs me. The kids need to be fed. I actually, as a matter of fact, pretty sure that's my daughter in the background crying. You guys can't hear her, but I can certainly hear her. So something's going on downstairs. So I apologize to my wife if she's going through it right now. And she's the real hero, okay? Talk about green lights, all right? My wife has been the ultimate green light. She gives me all the green lights in life to do what I want to do what I'm doing now. And none of this is possible if it wasn't for her. And that's just that. I mean, she is my hero, man. She keeps it going, and she's what makes all of this possible. So you know, all. Ah, she said all she said was "Al." See there, his wife. He's coming here on Twitch. All she says was "Al." We are all good here. Okay, yeah, I did hear something real quick. I had both earphones on, so but I definitely heard that. Is she okay? Is the Mavis all right? Is she dying? What happened? Did she like step on Woody or something? What's going on? Yeah. All right. Again, everybody, thank you for joining me. It has been a hell of a Mental Mondays, episode 21. Give yourself the green light. All right, I'm going to play this week's mental health video of the week for you one more time. Actually, two more times, like we always like to do. If you're watching with me live right now, or if you're watching in post edit, I mean. And if you're watching here on TikTok right now, thank you for joining the raw version of Mental Mondays with Epis. I really appreciate those have stopped by tonight, and yeah, I hope you like it. Again, if you really want to get the real version, I will have the post-edited version of this episode up on YouTube. Yeah, tonight, you know what? I'm give myself the green light I don't want to give, and I will make sure that it's up on YouTube tonight. It's probably going to be late, but it will be up there. So check it out tomorrow. How about that? Check it out tomorrow. The full edited version will be up on YouTube. And if you haven't done so already, if you're new to the channel, please follow me here on TikTok. Would really appreciate the support. I do these weekly shows. I put out weekly content, daily content, the whole nine. Hope you enjoy. I've gotten to know some of you here on TikTok recently. I've talked to got a couple of new followers, and I've really enjoyed interacting with you guys. And let's keep the conversation as always like to do on the Mental Mondays shows. And I also do a sports show as well. If you're interested, again, check out my page. The content, some of the sports content is up there. Short form content for you. But if you want everything, you want all the episodes, everything like that, it's all on YouTube. So go check it out. Epis Radio. All right. I know my name's Maddie here on TikTok. We're going to probably change that. Or maybe not. Maybe people like Maddie. It is me after all. I don't know. That's it. I'm rambling at this point and throwing all the promos out. All right. I'm going to play this week's mental health video of the week one more time on Twitch and YouTube. Thank you for showing up. As the motto of the show is, keep showing up. All right, let's get this on time. We'll cut the music and bring back the mental. All right. All right. I recently read Greenlights by Matthew McConaughey, and one thing it told me was to give yourself the green light. So many times in life, we're putting on the brakes. You know, we see that yellow, and we just, instead of pushing through, we kind of have a tendency to hold back, to step on those brakes. You got to give yourself the green light. It's supposed to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But I promise you, it's going to feel much better having done it and having just giving yourself that green light. Tonight, I gave myself the green light to make this video. Shit, I gave myself the green light to get this shirt, to earn this shirt. If I didn't tell myself that I could do it, even when I didn't think I could do it, who knows? I wouldn't have been wearing this shirt, and I wouldn't have been the man who I am today. So if there's anything you do this week, or today, or tomorrow, just give yourself the green light. Keep showing up. All right. One more time for you on Twitch and YouTube. One more time. All right. I recently read Greenlights by Matthew McConaughey, and one thing it told me was to give yourself the green light. So many times in life, we're putting on the brakes. You know, we see that yellow, and we just, instead of pushing through, we kind of have a tendency to hold back, to step on those brakes. you got to give yourself the green light. It's supposed to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But I promise you, it's going to feel much better having done it and having just given yourself that green light. Tonight, I gave myself the green light to make this video. Shit, I gave myself the green light to get this shirt, to earn this shirt. If I didn't tell myself that I could do it, even when I didn't think I could do it, who knows? I wouldn't have been wearing this shirt, and I wouldn't have been the man who I am today. So if there's anything you do this week, or today, or tomorrow, just give yourself the green light. Keep showing up.
Hope you find some kind of peace of mind.
All right. All right. Shout out to Matthew McConaughey. All right. Gave me the inspiration. I feel like I've copyrighted Matthew McConaughey. I hope, I don't know, maybe I got to tag him in this something in one of these posts. See if I could draw his attention somehow. All credit to you, man, for really giving me the inspiration on doing this week's mental health video of the week and just this show in general. I loved your book. It was great. I'm currently reading his second book right now. It's full of poetry and all that, so really enjoying that as well. If you haven't got a chance to, go check it out. Greenlights by Matthew McConaughey. Phenomenal book. And again, this was the inspiration of this week's show. All right, and without further ado, that's it. All right, I'm gonna leave you guys with that tonight. Again, for those of you that joined us on the live streams, all of them, appreciate you. Had a lot of fun tonight. Nice, quick, a little over an hour episode. I think actually an hour once it's fully edited. So nice hour episode for you. I'll be able to go back and timestamp some things that we're talking about. But all in all, it's really just on the subject of giving yourself the green light. And I promise, it'll open a world of opportunity for you. You'll be happier for it. It has changed my life. Even, and this, again, this was something that I adopted without even reading his book. And once I had read the book, it kind of clicked. It was like, okay, yeah, I mean, this is clearly the path I've been leading myself down, and it's because I've been giving myself those green lights. So it was nice to just connect with that, and it's nice to connect with you guys and share my stories as usual. Kind of touched on a lot of things tonight, not that I haven't talked about it before on the show, on the previous episodes, but just revisited some things and really got into it. Again, it's always nice to do. Makes me feel good. Hopefully it makes you feel good. And that's it. I'm going to hit this outro. And like always, everybody, until next time, keep showing up.
Wake up!
All right, everybody on TikTok. I don't even know how to end this thing. How do I get out of here? I don't know. But thank you for joining my live stream. I don't even know how to end it. That's hilarious.
Hope you find
Oh my god, what's
some
this?
kind of peace of
No,
mind.
that ain't it. All right, everybody on Twitch and YouTube.
Hope
I love you.
find some
Have a good
kind of
night.
peace of mind.
Keep showing up as always. I hope your week goes well.
Was true.
Until next time.
In my love, in my
Hope you find some kind of peace of mind.